unicorn.
How horny is the
Unicorn!
Unicorn!
Just
Only one
excuse me.
horny. We'll be fine.
Yeah, I
Will we
suppose.
though? Will we though?
No.
I mean, they are awfully, like, focused on the whole virginity thing.
Alright, so...
Ugh.
the
What?
I mean, that just means they're
Oh,
devoted to chastity,
right.
so they'll be anti-horny.
The book opens. The summer of 1507 is exceptionally dry throughout Flanders. Fires scorch the forest, crops wither, and animals collapse with thirst. Nowhere is the drought as severe as in your own small village. Just last week, when you went to check the dwindling water supply, you discovered a dead rat floating in the well upon which everyone depended. Since then, the water has been foul and tainted. The barrels of rainwater are nearly empty, and all attempts to dig a new well have yielded nothing but dry earth. One morning, after weeding the field you inherited when your parents died 10 years ago, you pay a visit to Marie Claire. She's the oldest person in the village and one of your special friends. Really, book? We're gonna start out with special friends. Okay.
Yeah, you're just clapping those old lady cheeks.
No.
Some people say this might be the last summer any of us lives to see, you tell her sadly. None of the other villages around has enough water to share with us. And it's hopeless to keep trying to dig a new well. I wish there was something I could do about it. Marie Claire looks up from her knitting. You could try to lure a unicorn to the well. Why, the touch of its horn purifies even poison. But Marie Claire, you exclaim, around here unicorns are rarer than water. I bet it would be easier to find the sorceress than a unicorn. That's a good idea, she replies. I'm sure the sorceress knows all about unicorns. Why don't you look for her? But no one has seen her in years, you remind Marie Claire. The last person who tried to find her never even returned. Ah, but you are 10 times smarter than anyone who has ever searched for the sorceress. Oh, okay. If anyone can find her, it's you. It's like, I think you're just dumb enough to go out, is the feeling I'm getting from this old lady.
Yeah.
Although you feel flattered, you are not sure you are really clever enough. Well, I'll give it a try. I wonder if I still remember that riddle describing the way to find the sorceress. Is this right? You take a deep breath and recite, near a land reserved for woe, in a place that's high but low. Watch which way the bat doth go. Find me there and I will know. You decide... Oh, no. Turn to page 5, okay. Perfect, says Marie Claire as she hands you a glass pendant shaped like a raindrop. Put on my good luck talisman. Use it as you need it, my friend. You say goodbye to Marie Claire, then roam the parched fields. After pondering the riddle, you think of 2 places reserved for woe. The sorceress could mean the village graveyard or the small camp outside the village where 2 lepers live in gloomy isolation.
What?
If you head for the graveyard, turn to page 11. If you decide to go to the lepers camp, turn to page 8.
Graveyard.
I hate saying it. I'm inclined to lean toward graveyard. I'm inclined to lean towards graveyard as well, because a graveyard would be permanent versus a leper colony.
Graveyard. Graveyard is...
Graveyard.
Turn to page 11. Even though the path to the graveyard is all downhill, you are hot and thirsty by the time you arrive there. You sit in the shade of a drooping tree to cool off. As you watch the parched leaves float to the dusty ground, you consider the next line of the riddle. In a place that's high but low. What can be both high and low? Looking around, you notice the rolling slopes of the hills along the far side of the graveyard. They seem to be both high and low. But then the church bell rings, striking noon. Turning, you realize the steeple of the church also fits the riddle. The church itself is in a low valley, but the steeple towers high above the village. If you walk over to the hills,
answer.
Turn to page 3. If you enter the church, turn to page 16.
I know the answer. It's a camp full of weed addicts.
I'm gonna go with the church steeple.
I say hills. What would a sorceress be doing at church people?
They have a sense of humor.
No one
Also-
would think to look for me here.
As I was literally about to say, it's like, where are you gonna look for? That's like the last place you check for the witch. Usually
Point.
burn them in front of the church.
Okay, so we got one.
Point, so no one would look inside.
They
church.
built the church around her.
She was just there and they built a church. Okay, so we've got one vote for church and one vote for hills. Where do we want to go?
I am a great fan of irony.
Yeah.
I have not gone to a church in ages and would like to continue that trend.
That's also fair. So we're still running neck and neck for church and hills.
I guess I'll be tiebreak and say hills.
Hills.
Yeah!
Run to the hill.
Run for your life.
You decide to climb to the top of the highest hill. Once there, you wipe your brow and look around. Feeling a little perplexed, you remind yourself of the next line of the riddle. Watch which way the bat doth go. But there are no bats in sight. As you pace impatiently, wondering what to do, you come upon a cave opening near the top of the hill.
Yeah!
You poke your head inside, but it's too dark to see anything. Hello, hello, you call, but only your own voice echoes back. The cave seems like a perfect place to find a bat, and maybe even the sorceress as well. If you enter the cave to look for the bat, turn to page 34. If you think it best to watch for a bat before you do anything else, turn to page 27.
We should wait for the bat, really.
Watch the bat. I like to watch the bats.
I do like bats.
Bats are great.
Let's watch the
Watch the
bats.
little
Of course you'd think that, Morbius.
Of course, bats are the best animal on the planet. Did you know their hearing is impeccable?
Is that your Jared
Really,
Leto
Dr.
impression?
Morbius?
No.
Tell me more,
it's,
Bat
it's
X.
my Morbius voice, not my Jared Leto voice. Who would want to be Jared Leto?
Also, their
It's
DNA.
me!
I'm
Also,
Jared Leto.
Also, their DNA can let you fly.
Yep,
Not with wings. It'll just let you fly like Superman.
this is
Also
true.
turn into mist. We're
Yep.
not sure about that one.
Okay.
And
Sweat,
drink blood.
sweat
They have
streams down
special
your
dander.
face as you wait by the cave. At sunset, you finally spot a bat zigzagging through the air. Instead of flying into the cave beside you, it soars to the side of the hill, where you follow it into a second cave you hadn't seen before.
Hey!
You shiver with
Hell yeah.
excitement as you grope your way through the darkness, listening to the sound of
Ugh.
beating wings. Stop using those words.
Grope the cave.
All right, Mario.
The darkness.
Suddenly, lightning streaks across your path, striking the ground just inches from your toes. Before you can catch your breath, a second bolt flashes, followed immediately by yet another. Your heart is pounding with terror when you hear someone mutter, "Magic Mother of Merlin, where's the thunder? Who's there?" you call nervously. Page 33. An enormous flash of lightning illuminates the cave, revealing a wizened old woman draped in purple velvet. "A visitor!" she exclaims, and the next thing you know, daylight has replaced the darkness. "Congratulations," she cackles. "It's been 261 years since anyone has been able to find me." "Really? That was a shitty poem." "I hope I didn't scare you. I was just practicing my storms. For the life of me, I can't get the thunder to work." You open your mouth to say hello, but instead of your voice, a deep rumble of thunder emerges from the back of your throat. "There's the thunder!" she shrieks gleefully. You are afraid to open your mouth again. "Don't be shy," says the sorceress warmly. "I want to know why you've come." Hesitantly, you part your lips a bit. No thunder roars, so you tell the sorceress about the tainted water in your village well. She shakes her head. "Sorry to disappoint you, but I can't clean up that mess in your well. Water is not my domain, never has been, never will be. Why, I can't even create rain to go with my thunder and lightning." You're a shitty sorceress. You are
He's
undaunted.
how old?
What about unicorns?
Very.
Do you know anything
Yeah,
about them? You asked
How
the
the hell have
sorceress.
you not picked something up?
I heard they can purify water. The words have barely left your lips when you see a handsome unicorn stepping lightly around the cave. You reach out to stroke its flank, but the unicorn vanishes abruptly. Just an illusion, the sorceress explains. It's as close as I can come to creating a real unicorn, but it's no good for cleaning water. Have you ever seen a real unicorn? Several times, she replies casually. In fact, there's a unicorn living in the forest. Can you tell me where to find it in the forest? She shakes her head. I'm afraid not, but I should be able to help you some other way. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to change into something more comfortable. I always think more clearly as the wind.
What?
Here we go.
You watch with astonishment as she flings her purple robe over her shoulder and spins until she seems to be a lavender tornado. The next thing you know, the tornado fades and a cold wind rushes around the cave, howling and shrieking. A violet cloud slowly forms, and from it the sorceress emerges. I've got it, she announces breathlessly. I can cast one of 2 spells that may help you find the unicorn. I can give you the power to speak with animals, or I can knit you a golden net for catching magical beast. Take your pick.
Animals.
If you answer, I want to be able to talk to animals.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
if you want to have the help, you have to talk to it.
I would love to be able to talk to animals.
Yeah, catching it's not going to do you. It'll be mad at you then.
40. Okay. Even if you can't find a unicorn, you'll have fun talking with other animals, says the sorceress. She scoops a handful of brown flakes from a basket. What is that? Ears and tongues from 12 creatures, she explains. You look away with disgust as she puts the flakes into a bowl and crushes them into a powder. Ready, the sorceress carefully spoons the powder into each of your ears. Open your mouth. Now don't worry, this will dissolve and you won't taste it at all. She places a dab under your tongue. You can barely tell it's there. How do I know
What was
if
this
it
book
works?
called again?
The Magic of the Unicorn. Go ahead and try it, she suggests. Call my bat. Bat, hey bat, you shout, feeling a little silly. Within seconds, the creature flutters towards you and squeaks, You called? Please lead me to the forest. You thank the sorceress, then follow the bat out of the cave and through the hills to the edge of the moonlit forest. There you say goodbye to the bat. Hearing a rustling in the branches above, you call, Hello? An owl swoops out of the darkness, startling you as it lands on your shoulder. You must be a friend of the sorceress, it hoots, and that you was drawn out, so just so you know, I did acting for you.
Thank you.
Yes, I am. The well in my village is tainted, so I'm looking for a unicorn to clean the water. You'll just have to decide whether you want just the horn or the unicorn itself, says the owl. Why? This afternoon a warlock cut off the horn of the only unicorn I know. I'm not sure how magical the unicorn is without it, but I'm willing to bet the horn hasn't made the warlock any less wicked. That demon isn't going to be eager to lend you his new treasure. I can lead you to either, but neither one may be useful. If you answer, please take me to the unicorn, turn to page 53. If you are determined to get the magic horn from the warlock, turn to page 54.
I feel like we should meet the unicorn before we go touching its horn.
Yeah.
It might try to help us get it back.
Yeah, or maybe it can grow a new one.
It is
you don't know.
It is my policy to not touch anything's horn that I don't know.
Is that your joke or the book's joke?
That's my joke.
Okay.
That's a good joke.
The owl flaps its wings. To the unicorn. You hurry after the owl, stumbling on roots and thrashing through brambles. Slow down, you call. I can't see in the dark as well as you can. Human beings, hoots the owl scornfully. Why don't you sleep now and we'll go to the unicorn in the morning? Good idea, you reply. You curl up at the foot of an oak tree and soon drift off into a deep and dreamless sleep. When you wake the next morning, the owl is perched on your shoulder. I'm so glad you suggested I rest, you say as you stretch your arms. I feel great. Good. Now let's get going.
Oh, it's an owl.
You can eat some berries along the way. 24.
I get it, it's an owl.
It's an owl.
It's
an
just
owl?
that O sounds.
The two of you make your way through the sun-streaked forest. Even though you know the unicorn has lost its horn, you feel certain you'll find a way to clean the well. Maybe the unicorn could tell me where to find another unicorn, one that still has its horn, you chitter happily. I bet the unicorn must know all kinds of ways to clean water. You soon reach a small clearing. There, a crowd of woodland animals is gathered around the unicorn, who is lying on the ground. Oh no, moans the owl. What's wrong, you ask? Is the unicorn sleeping? I don't mind waiting. The animals turn to stare at you. You're too late, says the squirrel. The unicorn is dead.
What?
What?
The end.
What?
What? What?
Wait, was there any way for us to not sleep?
Nope.
Okay.
Well, at least Callie didn't die.
I still have to drink. It was a bad ending. Okay,
Alright, well, our next time we gotta kill and eat the owl.
Okay, so we're just gonna turn to where we go after the warlock, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like so here's your reasonable choice. You failed.
Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself.
It's the magic horn I need, not the rest of the unicorn, you tell the owl. What a bitch.
Yeah.
I want to meet the warlock. Follow me. The owl leads you along a dry stream bed where water flowed before the drought. After walking a few miles, you spot the flickering of a campfire. Squinting your eyes, you can just make out a small figure dancing around the flames. Is that the warlock? Lower your voice, scolds the owl. He has extraordinary hearing and the sharpest of eyes. When you are finally close enough to get a good look, a tight knot of panic forms in your stomach. The warlock's eyes glow red in the darkness, and his gleeful howl strikes terror in your heart. Well, I guess I just have to ask if he'll lend me the unicorn horn, you whisper Really? Really? That's your plan?
Hey, can I see that real quick?
Can we see that horn real quick?
Can I see that magical horn you just cut off a unicorn, please?
I just want a taste, you know? Need a...
How many times do I have to tell you? He isn't a kind-hearted soul. In fact, he has no heart at all. He's not much taller than me. Maybe I can sneak up on him and wrestle him to the ground, you suggest. Then I can grab the horn and run away before he can stand up. You sound more confident than you really feel. Are you sure? The warlock won't hesitate to use magic to win a battle, warns the owl. If you decide to reason with the warlock, turn to page 68. If you think you are strong enough to overpower the warlock, turn to page 80.
You sound like they're just gonna end badly, so fuck.
Want to punch a warlock?
I want to punch a warlock.
I
Yeah.
always want to punch a fucking warlock.
Let's punch the warlock.
Yeah, punch the warlock at the unicorn poacher.
This won't go badly, I'm sure. Oh good, the words "the end" have just popped in my face. I'm going to fight him, you tell the owl. It's the only way I'll ever get the unicorn horn. You creep closer to the whirling warlock, then duck behind a tree. Peering cautiously around the trunk, you spot the unicorn horn besides the warlock's dancing feet. With more strength than you knew you possessed, you hurl yourself at the warlock's back. He stumbles, nearly falling to the ground, but quickly regains his balance and flips you over his head. You crash to the ground.
What?
The warlock roughly yanks you up again. Gripping your arms tightly, he stares into your eyes. The next thing you know, you are dancing feverishly, mesmerized by the fire in his red eyes. The warlock blinks slowly a few times, and you find yourself growing very sleepy. You can barely keep your eyes open, let alone continue dancing. Overwhelmed by slumber, you are conscious only of the warlock's whisper in your ear. Sleep well, foolish urchin. You'll have 500 years to dream. The end.
Oh, he Rip Van Winkled us.
Damn.
Wow.
These drinks are
Alright.
coming a little faster than the other one was.
Oh dear.
Alright. So, we want to try the reason with the warlock?
Yeah?
I guess.
Okay. I'll ask the warlock to lend me the unicorn horn, you announce. Although you try to sound casual, your hands are trembling. Good luck, says the owl. I'll wait here. You walk closer to the campfire before calling. Hello? The warlock abruptly stops dancing as he strides towards you. His glowing red eyes are fixed on Marie Claire's talisman. I keep trying to say Marie Curie for some reason, because...
I mean, she was a warlock who killed unicorns, so that makes sense.
Yeah. You slowly extend both hands, palms up, to show you have no weapons. The warlock studies you warily, then shakes your hand. You try not to shudder as his hot, blistered hand touches yours.
Yeah.
After describing the danger facing your village, you ask if he would lend you his unicorn horn. The warlock laughs sourly. Between the world of angels and the lands of demons, there is no one who will ever touch my unicorn horn. Okay, buddy! Don't put it that way! Banish that idea from your mind immediately. But a sly grin spreads across the warlock's face. For a certain price, I could concoct a potion to clean your well. I have no money. It's not money I want. Don't go this way, book. The warlock stares intently at the pendant hanging from your neck. Where did you get that? From my friend Marie Curie. Marie Claire, god damn it! Give it to me and I'll mix the potion for you. 78. It doesn't give you a choice. You just have to go to the next page, so. You hesitate, but Marie Claire's words, use it as you need it, echo in your mind. You unclasp the charm and give it to the warlock. He returns to his campsite and begins mixing the potion in a goat skin flask. He finally hands it to you and says, pour this in your well tomorrow night before the moon rises. By the time the moon sets, your water will be pure. Thank you. You hurry back to the owl and gleefully shout, let's go, I'm going to save my village. And you do. The end.
What?
What?
Was not expecting it to go that way.
What was the price he wanted again?
He wanted the pendant your friend gave you in the beginning.
That was short.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
It's oddly anticlimactic.
the evil sorcerer is like, well, yeah, that seems pretty reasonable.
So do we want to go back to the beginning and head off in a different branch from the graveyard? Or do we want to go...
I guess so.
Do you want to go all the way back and go to Leper's Camp?
It feels weird that he pretty much, the sorcerer gets scot-free, like, either way.
Pretty much.
Yeah, he cut off the unicorn's horn.
And it kills it eventually.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the graveyard.
Go back to the graveyard? Okay, we'll go back to the graveyard and go from there.
Well, maybe the unicorn was an asshole.
Okay, so...
Yeah, like, at this point I'm kind of wondering, is, like, are we gonna find out the unicorn's actually a jerk?
Why are there two that mentions in scheduling?
Okay, so we walked up to the hills, so the only other option is to go into the church. Sorry, you're all going to burst into flames along with me.
It's fine.
When you go inside the church, Brother Michael looks up from the candelabrum he is polishing. Brother Michael, don't do that in public. I was just wishing for some company. What are you up to, my friend?
No!
It just keeps getting worse.
Oh my god!
I'm looking for the sorceress. You explain your interpretation of the riddle. Brother Michael strokes his chin. I'm glad it was his chin, thank you. I don't believe anyone has ever considered the graveyard or steeple when figuring out that riddle, so you may be on the right track. The next line of the riddle says to watch which way the bat goes, you tell him. Have you ever seen bats here? Plenty, he exclaims. At night they fly around the steeple. I've heard them down in the cellar, too, although I never actually go there. I didn't know there was a cellar under the church. Oh, there's a crawl space there, but it's too small to be very useful, says Brother Michael. Not only that, it's so infested with spiders that no one dares set foot in it. In fact, it would be a clever place for the sorceress to hide. If I had the courage, I'd look there. You are tempted to investigate the cellar, even though you don't like the idea of running into a web full of spiders. You also remind yourself that the riddle mentions a place that's high but low, and the cellar doesn't fit that description as well as the steeple does. If you want to explore the cellar, turn to page 20. If you think the steeple is a better choice, turn to page 9.
Let's go explore the basement. I want to get eaten by spiders.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the steeple, but okay.
We'll do the
Spider
steep factory.
basement. Spider
Spider
basement.
basement.
Spider basement.
Spider basement.
Spider basement.
I'd like to explore the cellar, you tell Brother Michael. He smiles at you and says, "Let me get you a lantern, then I'll show you the way." He leads you to a far corner of the church where he opens a heavy trap door. There are no stairs, he explains, since the space is only about 3 feet high. You'll have to jump down and then crawl. Wish me luck, you say as you lower yourself down through the hole. When your feet reach the ground, Brother Michael hands you the lantern. You get down on your hands and knees, take a deep breath to calm yourself, and adjust the lantern. Only then do you see the spiders. Thousands, maybe millions of them are clustered on dense veils of cobwebs that fill the entire space except for a narrow passageway. I would die.
That's valid.
You shudder with fear, but force yourself...
You have arachnophobia.
But force
I
yourself
would be
to crawl.
afraid of hurting them.
I mean, yeah, I would be also, but
Yeah.
I would also fucking die. You shudder with fear, but force yourself to crawl through the tunnel. The lantern casts eerie shadows on the webs. Spiders scurry under your shins. Strangely enough, you think you can hear a faint sound of gurgling water. Just then a bat swoops towards you. You flatten yourself to the ground and quickly cover your head with your hands. The bat soars over you, then flies straight through the wall of webs, creating a new tunnel. You shine the light of the lantern into the bat's passageway, but all you can see is blackness. You'd like to follow the bat to see if it leads you to the sorceress, but you also want to find out what's making the gurgling noise. If you decide to chase the bat, turn to page 76. If you continue down the tunnel you are in now, turn to page 38.
Well, what do you think, Morbius?
Do we follow the bat or go check out that gurgling?
We are here with a
Morbius?
Oh, we're asking Morbius.
You're being oddly silent, Morbius. What do we do?
Everyone can contribute. We were just asking Morbius that time.
Yeah, Morbius, what do we do?
Well, okay, sorry, I zoned the fuck out.
Do we follow the
Hardcore.
bat or do we the other thing, Morbius?
Oh, why would we do the other thing, good sir? We obviously follow the bat. The bat knows where he's going. It's totally not a vampire.
That's fair.
I'm going to say we ignore Morbius and go for the other. We go down the cave.
Then why?
Morbius has spoken. We're going to 76.
Yep, we gotta listen to Morbius.
As you
We're going to Fallout 76.
As you make your way through the narrow tunnel formed by the bat, you notice the passageway slopes deeper into the earth. The space becomes so small that you have to slide slowly along on your stomach. After wiggling for what seems like half a mile, you know you must be far away from the church. Suddenly, thick shrouds of cobwebs block the tunnel ahead. There isn't a trace of the bat. You cover your eyes with one arm and push through the webs with another. When you lower your arm from your face, you find you are inches away from the most enormous spider you have ever seen. It is even bigger than a rat. The giant spider springs on you, forgetting the low ceiling, forgetting everything except the 8 hairy legs clutching your shoulders and face. You bolt upright. Your head smashes against the earth above. Before you know what is happening, the ceiling collapses. Still locked in the spider's deadly grip, you are buried forever under tons of earth. That night, Brother Michael summons the courage to look for you, but his search yields no clue to your disappearance. The end. You fucking killed me again.
So
You're welcome.
Sorry, I was happy to see you.
That's fair.
Yeah. It's your fault for freaking out.
Well, we really morbed that one up, didn't we, Morbius?
Let's go down the other tunnel.
Man, I wish I was cool enough to be Morbius.
Well, you just have to get a lot less cool, and you'll be cool enough to be Morbius.
Yeah, you gotta lose some coolness, Shady.
Down the other... down in the other tunnel.
But I'm amazing.
The sound of water becomes more distinct as you creep steadily through the passageway. You are so intent on following the sound that you barely notice the spiders or the dusty webs anymore. Remember that this place is in a drought and you have been looking for water, so this does kind of make sense. At last, the light of your lantern flashes brightly on a rushing underground stream. The water smells fresh, so you taste it. You shriek with delight, for the water is sweet and very cold. The discovery of this stream saves your village. You and your friends manage to divert the flow so it runs directly under the trapdoor in the church. Although it makes a peculiar well, everyone is too happy to care. The end.
Alright.
Completely forsake our actual quest, but we technically accomplished things.
Well, fuck the unicorn. I don't need the unicorn. I have water. That's what I wanted. Okay, so we're going back into the church and going to the steeple? Is that what we'd like to do?
Yeah.
Going to the steeple is 9. Will you help me climb up the steeple? You asked Brother Michael. I'll hoist you onto the rafter, but after that you're on your own, he says. I'm afraid to climb that high. Brother Michael is useless. Brother Michael lifts you over his head up towards the rafter. You grab the beam. After a few seconds of scrambling, you right yourself safely on the rafter. What are you going to do next? Calls Brother Michael nervously. You look around. See that rope dangling from the church bell? Would you please move it up closer so I can grab hold of it and climb all the way to the top of the steeple? He takes hold of the bottom of the rope and carries it towards you. I can't bring it any closer, he says. I'll have to take a leap. Let's hope I can grab that rope, you tell him with more confidence than you actually feel. Here goes. You hurl your body towards the rope and miraculously manage to grip it tightly. As you sway from side to side, the clanging of the bell is almost deafening. No, wails Brother Michael. Now the whole village will come running to see why the bell is ringing. Just wait till they see I've allowed you to climb all over the church. You pay no attention. A trap door by the base of the bell has swung open, releasing a frightened bat. It flutters anxiously around you, then swoops out the window below. Oh. What's behind the door up there, you ask Brother Michael. I had no idea it was there, he replies. You're bad at your job, Brother Michael.
I feel like bats have gotten more screen time than the actual unicorn in this unicorn.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. I love bats.
But it's called Magic Unicorn, not the Magic Michael Morbius.
I blame you, Morbius.
God damn it, Morbius.
Oh, it's all my fault.
It almost became Bane for a second.
Fucking Morbin this whole book up.
Tut tut.
Then the next line of the riddle, watch which way the bat doth go, springs into your mind. You think you should probably follow the bat out the window, but you are very curious about the trapdoor. If you begin climbing down to follow the bat, turn to page 50. If you can't wait a moment longer to find out what's behind the trapdoor, turn to page 69.
Trapdoor. 69.
Well, now we're obligated.
Normally, I would have gone with the bat, but I can't say no to that.
Yeah, that's
like
Providence.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see what's
We did that in the last book.
Yeah, I mean,
There better be a vampire on the other side of that
it's
door.
page 69, you gotta.
Yeah.
I'll keep the villagers outside so they won't distract you, he calls to you. Be careful. The bell rings loudly as you climb up the rope. At the top, you crawl through the opening into a small, dark compartment. The tiny room is empty, save for a large goblet brimming with a clear, colorless liquid. Hesitantly, you take a sip. Why? Stop drinking weird liquids! Fuck!
You're going to die now.
When you realize it's fresh, cool water, you take several sizable gulps. You pause for a
For a
second.
second there, I thought it was going to be it's fresh Kool-Aid.
It might have been.
We're in a church.
You pause for a second and notice the goblet is just as full as it was when you first discovered it. Being careful not to drop the glass, you climb down from the steeple. Quite a bit of water spills on the way, but the goblet remains full. You rush outside to show Brother Michael and find the entire village gathered with him. Look what I've discovered, you shout. You pass the goblet among the puzzled villagers. They each take a drink and marvel at the endless supply of water. Brother Michael shakes his head with disbelief. My grandmother's great-grandmother told her a saint had blessed our village with a secret treasure, he tells you. All my life I've tried to figure out what it was. You found it. Before you know what's happening, you find yourself on the shoulders of your friends and neighbors. The crowd cheers your cleverness and courage as they march towards their parched fields with the magic goblet. The end.
Well, so far we've solved the problem 3 or 4 times, but we haven't actually really done anything with the unicorn.
We have not met the unicorn yet.
The one
Yeah.
time we
Never-
tried to
not
go
once.
to it, it died.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go back and turn to page 50.
Yeah, go see the bat.
Page 69 was a pretty good page.
Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm. Always love
Pointing
a
out
good.
the lack of sexy
It-
vampires.
It was nice and
Yeah.
wet.
That page 69 gave us the always wet cup.
Yep, it was pretty wet.
Finally, a
Like
cup I
wet
can
69.
use.
Shady, what?
What? Listen, I need
Two
something to
unicorns,
even.
one flowing cup.
No.
Oh no!
Okay.
Uh.
Could you tell me where that bat went? You ask Brother Michael as you climb down. He dashes out and hurries back. It's sitting on the ledge outside that window. You swing the rope towards the rafter and jump onto the beam. The bell clangs crazily. I'll distract the villagers so they don't scare the bat away, Brother Michael tells you. You thank him. I'm going to lower myself onto the windowsill, then get out onto the ledge, you say. Taking a deep breath, you step through the window onto the narrow wooden ledge. The sun-scorched wood feels hot on your bare feet. You flatten your back against the building and try to control the dizziness that threatens to overwhelm you. The bat cocks his head at you expectantly, then flutters further along the ledge. You are terrified to take another step. You squeeze your eyes shut, conscious only of the blood pounding in your ears. You finally force yourself to open your eyes. The bat is still waiting. As you edge towards it, an enormous splinter pierces your foot. Unbearable pain pulses up your leg, filling your entire body. Your leg jerks into the air and your arms fly out in a desperate attempt to steady yourself. But there is nothing to grab. You scream with horror as you plummet to the ground. When you regain consciousness, a crowd of villagers is gathered around you. You're alive, thank heaven, cries Marie Claire. Yes, but you've broken both your legs, says Brother Michael. You know your search for the sorceress is over. The end.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow! That bat, fucking walked us into death.
Darn you, Michael Morbius!
Of course!
Destroying everything he touches.
Yeah, as the bat flies overhead, just crunch your hand into a fist. Damn you, Michael Morbius!
Okay, so we're gonna go back pretty far to where we did not go to the church, but we went to the hills instead.
Mm.
And then last time, we sat outside and waited for the bat. This time, do you want to go into the cave, or do we want to go all the way back and go to the lepers camp?
Lepers.
Okay.
yeah. Might as well.
Yeah.
You know what? We have a spotty record with Morbiuses, so
So
Let's
we're
Yeah.
not follow the Morbius.
gonna go into the camp, or do you want to go look for the bat? I didn't catch that part.
camp.
Camp. Okay.
Yeah.
Leper camp.
We'll make a note to come back to the cave, just in case.
Yeah, we will not stop until we get a proper unicorn ending.
We've got to get to the
Yeah.
unicorn at least once. There's got to be.
We
a
got to the
fucking-
unicorn.
Yeah, it's this unicorn book.
Who did
Oh.
we lose?
Luna.
Uh,
She's.
Oh.
You turn down the path to the leper's shabby hut. You know the villagers stay far away from the lepers for fear of catching their dreaded skin disease, and they will be very upset if they ever learn you visited the lepers. When you first glimpse the two swollen faces peering out the doorway, you panic, then force yourself to continue towards them. Welcome, friend. Please come inside, says one of the lepers warmly. Thanks, but I'll stay outside, you reply. What a bitch. I'm looking for the sorceress. The riddle says she lives near a place of woe, and I thought that might mean your home. What a bitch. Since no one will have anything to do with us, this is indeed a woeful place, says the second leper. But I don't think it's the one your riddle describes. We have never seen the sorceress. In fact, I think even she might be afraid of catching our disease. Is leprosy that bad, you ask? No, says the first man, but the way people treat us is horrible. In fact, you better hurry back. If anyone sees you here, they won't let you return home. You say goodbye to the men and head towards home. As you reach the road to the village, you meet several of your neighbors. Their faces whiten. Their eyes dart back and forth between you and the lepers, who are still standing by their doorway. Stay back, shouts one man. Keep away. It's all right, you insist. I was just there for a minute. You can't return to the village. Go back to the lepers, shrieks another neighbor, eyeing you fearfully. As you start
Touch their faces.
As you start to follow them, the villagers gather stones. Leper, leper, they scream, throwing rocks at you.
Touch their faces.
Wow.
Filled with horror, you race away from the villagers. You slowly realize you can't go home, but cling to the hope that their panic will subside in a few days, especially if you find a way to purify the well. Since you can't continue your search for the sorceress by investigating the graveyard, you decide to concentrate on finding a unicorn. You turn away from your village and walk along the road towards the forest, hoping you find a unicorn there. Before long, you hear a cart approaching behind you. The driver is Simon, a traveling peddler you've always liked. You wave to him and ask, "Where are you going?" Simon pulls the cart to a halt beside you. Everyone around here is too upset about the drought to take much interest in my trinkets. I'm going to try my luck in the city of Eris. At least people will be trading there. Want to join me? I wouldn't mind some company for such a long trip. Simon? Simon. Eris. You've never seen the city before. Although you would love to go, you suspect unicorns are more likely to live in the forest. But maybe you could meet someone in Eris who could tell you about how to find a unicorn. If you decide to search for a unicorn in the forest, turn to page 12. If you climb in the cart headed for Eris, turn to page 14.
Eris.
Never follow someone to a second location.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Well, with how some of the stories have been going.
I mean...
Yeah, true.
Yeah, you did like, when you were first saying peddler, I'm like, oh god, a traveling pedo.
And with how these stories are written, you know? Like, remember the alien ones?
So many roofies.
There's a lot of roofies in that book. Okay, so we want to go directly to the forest?
Yeah.
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 I like walking in the woods for a good time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If it just leads us into, like, the previous route, are we just gonna come back?
Yeah. Thanks, but I can't go with you now. How about another time, you tell Simon. You wave goodbye as he continues down the road. When he disappears from view, you leave the road and make your way into the shadowy forest. The air is parched and still, even the birds are quiet. As you travel deeper into the forest, the only sound you hear is the crunching of your footsteps on dry leaves. After several hours of walking, you notice a few long strands of silver tangled in a brush. You hold your discovery up to the light, trying to decide whether it is fine thread or hair. You've never seen anything like it. As you look around for other strands of silver, you spot several small hoof prints. They are too little to belong to a horse and aren't the right shape for a deer. Your heart stops for a second when you realize the hoof prints in the silver strands may be traces of a unicorn. You search for more evidence and are surprised to see that the hoof prints lead in one direction and the silver hairs in another. You pause, trying to decide which way to go. If you follow the hoof prints, turn to page 32. If you head in the direction of the silver strands, turn to page 51.
Well, unicorns don't have hooves. They have human hands. So I say we follow the silver strands.
I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah, TT is the expert.
You say that with such confidence.
Yeah,
Alright.
I guess.
Such matter of fact.
As you search through the forest for silver strands, you hear a rustling of leaves. Stepping quietly, you follow the sound until you spy a flash of silver through the trees. It's not a unicorn after all, but a young woman wearing a fraying shawl woven of silver thread. As you run up to her, you wonder if she might be the sorceress, for no ordinary person could own such a shawl. Hello, you call. When she turns around, you see her face is filled with terror. Her velvet gown is torn and dusty. I thought you were the kidnappers, she explains breathlessly. What kidnappers, you ask? Those villains who kidnapped me. I've managed to escape during the night, but I'm sure they're looking for me. She glances around nervously. Can you hide me? Sure, you reply. I'll bring you home to my village. She smiles at you gratefully. I'm lucky you found me. What are you doing in the middle of a forest anyway? You don't look like a hunter or a woodcutter. You sigh wearily. I'm looking for a unicorn. You see, the well in my village is tainted, and our supply of rainwater is almost gone. I can help you, says the woman happily. Can you? She looks at you strangely. Don't you know who I am? You shake your head. I'm the king's daughter, she replies, and just as soon as I get home, I'll give you my unicorn horn as a reward for saving me. The end.
Oh my god!
Wait, why do you have a unicorn horn, lady?
Because she's a virgin.
All right,
And also-
there we go.
And also a psychopath. What?
I don't know you well enough to answer that question.
This
If
is
this was made in modern times, they would have gotten married.
extremely
Yeah.
amusing that every single time we've solved this, it has had nothing to do with the unicorn.
Where's that fucking unicorn? I'm not gonna stop reading until we find it.
This is turning
Even
into
the
a
story
story.
named after a unicorn. The unicorn itself is about as rare as an actual unicorn.
Yeah, what up
He
with
did
that?
once and it died.
We met
No,
it once and it
it
was
was-
already dead.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna page
Hey,
32 and see what the hoof prints give us. You track the hoof prints to a small clearing. There you find a small white horse nibbling wild flowers. The animal raises its head and stares at you for a second before breaking into a frenzied gallop. You hesitate, trying to decide if it's just a horse or if it could possibly be a more magical creature. If you run after the animal, turn to page 41. If you turn away and follow the silver strands, turn to page 102.
Got
well,
the
they really
phone
want us to go
again?
after the silver strands, huh? Chase said we already did the strands.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's a different page than we went to last time.
Oh.
The one we did earlier had different canonicity.
Yeah, I'm curious about what the silver strands will do now.
Okay, we'll go to the silver
Yeah.
strands. Can always come back to this page. So, although you try to retrace your steps carefully, you can't find any more strands of silver. After several hours of searching, you stop at a small pond for a drink of water. But when you look more closely, you are repelled by a thick layer of scum floating on the surface. Tired and thirsty, you sit down beside the pond to rest. As you try to decide what to do next, you pluck a pod from a peculiar plant that you've never seen before. You open the pod and idly toss the seeds one by one into the stagnant pond. You blink with disbelief as the water suddenly begins to sparkle.
What?
Quickly tearing open another pod, you throw a seed into the pond. You watch with amazement as the water becomes so clear you can see the bottom. When you take a sip, you find it as fresh as you could ever want. Breathless with excitement, you gather as many of the strange pods as you can find. The villagers accept you back when they learn you can purify the water. By keeping the location of the plants a secret, you'll eventually earn a small fortune purifying other wells with the mysterious seeds. Before long, your seeds replace unicorn horns as the most highly regarded method of purifying water. The end.
What?
That's a terrible ending. We just
Okay,
sunk into
Chase
capitalism.
after the horse. Chase after the horse.
Yeah.
Sunk into
Because we know in
capitalism.
one
Yep.
Because
That's
we
what
Created a
Capitalism.
monopoly.
because we know in the one canosity the warlock has removed the unicorn's horn. Ergo.
The white horse gallops so awkwardly that you have little trouble catching up with it. You grab its mane and throw your arms around its slender neck. Only then do you notice the small stump on the top of its head. You're hurting me, gasped the creature. You're shocked
Kill
by
it.
the animal's voice. Are you some kind of magical horse or a hornless unicorn? I'm a unicorn, and if you'll release me, I'll tell you why my horn is missing. You let go of the unicorn and smooth its tangled mane. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. Normally I would shake you right off, but several hours ago the warlock, the terror of this forest, cut off my horn. Without it, I have no magic or strength. I'll be dead by daybreak. Oh no,
Awesome.
you cry. Part of you feels compelled to help the unicorn, or at least stay with it through the night. Yet another part of you wants to look for the warlock before he gets too far away with the horn. If you decide to help the unicorn, turn to page 66. If you ask the unicorn, where can I find the warlock, turn to page 62.
Let's help the unicorn. We've been
Wanna
trying
help
to get
the
him it all the
unicorn.
time.
I want to help the unicorn commit suicide.
Jesus Christ.
What? What?
I want to lead this horse to water and hold its head down to give it
TT,
the
what the
blissful release desire.
TT,
God.
what the fuck?
I want to help the unicorn. Let's go.
Alright. What can I do to help, you ask the unicorn. The unicorn sighs. There is only one way you can save me, and even then I'm not sure it will work. Tell me what it is. When thousands of teardrops are combined with moonlight, explains the unicorn, they form a rainbow of tears which has special healing power for unicorns. I'll do
Wait.
Yes.
Teardrops combining with moonbeams.
Yep.
Is this
Yeah.
canon to the Titanic movie?
Yes.
Oh no! Lydia, no!
Oh,
Lydia!
like a Sailor Moon thing.
I'll do it, you exclaim eagerly. It's kind of you to offer, but the rainbow probably requires more tears than you can weep. You'd be surprised how much I can cry, you insist. It takes...
Yeah, motherfucker. All I gotta do is think about my life.
Well, it takes thousands
true.
of tears, the unicorn reminds you. I could run home and get all my friends to help too, you suggest, although you're not really sure anyone in the village will listen to you. The unicorn takes its head shakes its head sadly. There is little time. Remember, by dawn I'll be dead. If you decide to cry the rainbow of tears yourself, turn to page 99. If you decide to bring your friends to help cry for the unicorn, turn to page 110.
Fuck those
We're
guys.
gonna need some
Oh, that's how hard we can cry.
You know,
Yeah.
Want to see how hard
We've
I
been
can
through
cry?
2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been through 2020.
Let's fucking do it.
And 2021 and 2022.
You would underestimate my power.
Let me try to cry the rainbow of tears, you insist. I'm touched by your kindness and courage, the unicorn glances at the sky. The moon will rise in a few hours. Until then, just rest. When darkness cloaks the forest and the moon is high, the unicorn murmurs it is time. You remind yourself of every unhappiness you've ever experienced, and tears begin to trickle down your cheeks. Then you imagine all kinds of misfortunes that could happen in the future. You sob uncontrollably as tears drip off your nose and chin, soaking your shirt. You cry so hard you begin to cough, but nothing happens. No matter how much you weep, no rainbow appears. I'm sorry it isn't working, you whisper to the unicorn. No one can fault you for trying. The unicorn rests its head in your lap. As morning approaches, it begins to croon sorrowfully. The unicorn's song of death pierces through the darkness, penetrating the dreams of people far and wide. With the first
Bruh.
brush of dawn, the unicorn's voice falters, and you notice the sound of galloping hooves. Before you have a chance to wonder who is approaching, a unicorn plunges through the shrubs. It halts beside you and lowers its lustrous horn to meet the head of the dying unicorn. Their eyes meet.
Stabs it in the eye.
You watch the unicorn in your lap smile peacefully, then close its eyes for the last time.
Bruh.
That's a happy ending for me.
The second unicorn raises its head and says, "Thank you for staying with my sister. Is there anything I can do to repay you?" As a matter of fact, there is. You describe the problem facing your village. "Climb on my back and show me the way," replies the unicorn. You clutch its mane as the unicorn races through the forest towards your village. The end.
Okay, let's save this unicorn for real this time.
That's
TT,
so
these are
sad.
unicorns, not Kelbies.
Alright, let's get our 100
Feather.
friends to cry for this fucker. See if that gets him hard.
Let's go get
Restore the unicorns.
Is our only
Monstrous
interaction with this
horn.
unicorn going to be a dying?
I don't know. I've never actually read this book.
Book is brutal. What the fuck?
I'll hurry
Yeah,
back.
that was fucking heartbreaking.
I'll hurry back, you promised the unicorn as you set out for your village. The shadows grow longer with each step you take. You search anxiously for familiar sights, but by the time the moon rises, you know you are lost. You decide to return to the unicorn, but after walking all night, you find no trace of it. By morning, you know that the unicorn must be dead. Holding Marie Claire's talisman in your hands, you whisper to it, "If you really bring good luck, prove it to me now. Help me find my way home." For 3 long days, you stumble aimlessly through the forest. Just as you begin to think you are lost forever, you hear the voices in the distance. You discover 2 of your neighbors working in the field. You are so relieved you forget about their fears of leprosy and rush over to greet them. "Get away," shouts one. "You can't come back," cries the other. You curse your bad luck as you run past the men to the village. Marie Claire's talisman has led to one misfortune after another, and this is the worst. When you reach the well, you tear the charm off your neck and hurl it into the murky water. "Good riddance," you yell. "You brought me nothing but bad luck." You rub your eyes in disbelief. The water begins sparkling brightly. You can see clear to the bottom of the well. "It's clean," you shout jubilantly. "The water is clean." The villagers gather around the well to taste the fresh water. "Welcome home," they cheer. The end. I don't want to fucking live here anymore. These guys suck.
I hate this ending.
Fair weather friends.
Where the fuck is the fucking unicorn that doesn't die?
I guess we have to go fight the fucking warlock again.
Right, so
ask the unicorn where the warlock is.
Ask the unicorn where the warlock. I gotta find. There we go. 60.
Desperately hope that the best ending wasn't the one where we are there and we try to comfort the unicorn as it dies, ultimately to, just have its sister be happy with us. Like, on the one hand, this cute. On the other hand, god effing damn it.
I want to save this fucking unicorn.
Yeah, this is the mission of this book now.
The warlock is hard to find because he's always moving around, answers the unicorn. The sparrows have told me he often visits the wood witch who lives west of here, where the fir trees go. Oh, he's getting some hanky-panky, okay?
No!
Witch of wood.
No!
Oh, okay.
How will I recognize her, you ask? The unicorn shrugs weakly. I've never seen her myself. There's enough danger in this forest already. I don't go looking for more. As you thank the unicorn,
for some hickeys.
You'd feel a twinge of guilt for abandoning it, but you remind yourself that saving your village is the most important thing right now.
Are we just gonna lose the unicorn again?
I don't know.
Word to God.
All through the night you head west. By dawn you notice more and more fir trees growing among branches and maples. A soft wailing sends a chill up your spine. You tell yourself it must be the wind. Further ahead, past a strand of fir trees, you see a clearing. You race up to it, expecting to find the wood witch's dwelling. Instead, you discover seven life-size wooden statues. Most are of surprised woodcutters, but there's also a crying child and another statue of a woman. Her face is full of terror. You study them closely, noticing that some are remarkably detailed, while others seem more like fir trees than humans. A sudden crack of a breaking twig makes you turn sharply. A tall creature, half woman, half trees, stares at you with glittering green eyes. 2 branches move like arms to embrace you. Run, you tell yourself, but you can't. You are paralyzed with fear. Don't be frightened, whispers the wood witch. As she touches you, your body turns to wood. You can't see a thing, but you can think and feel, and your screams sound like the howl of the wind. You make a lovely statue, says the witch as she strokes your smooth wooden arm, and in 10 or 20 years, you'll be a handsome fir tree. The end.
The
Fuck off,
man?
book.
I love how angry you are.
What the hell?
The fuck is
Okay,
this
we need to put
book?
this book the fuck down, because no.
Jesus Christ, hold on.
No, we gotta find the way to save the unicorn. I've experienced the wonderful thrill of killing it. Now I want the equal thrill of giving it life.
To control
I don't
life and
think there is
death.
an ending where we can save the unicorn.
Oh, we're gonna find it.
TT,
You
you're
know,
trying to
you know,
sound more like a
Kelly's
Steely.
One second.
Like
you know,
a
Kelly's taking a shot every
Was
time.
it not
we fail,
our
right?
sin that killed the unicorn? Even now, the evil seed of what we've done germinates within us. So we've got to find a way to exert the same power in reverse.
Francis Terror, as Michael J. Morbius, let me tell you, this is not a path you come back from.
Morbius, what the fuck do you know? Your movie sucked.
Morbius would know a thing or two about drinking unicorn blood.
Yeah, that happened in the movie, right?
Yeah, it did.
This sucked
I've
the whole
seen it.
unicorn dry. It
I
shriveled
fucked
up like a fucking toothpaste tube.
See, like,
It
fucking
shriveled
just
up and died in the middle of New York
Seriously,
City.
what options haven't we tried?
Callie, before we continue, I just gotta know, are you actually taking a shot each time we fail this?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
fuck.
Oh dear. Okay, so how
yeah.
many have you taken now?
I don't know.
Okay for the bar?
It's fine. Don't have any.
Oh yeah, Kelly's not.
You're
Kelly's
drinking
gonna be
water,
fine.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Kelly's gonna be fine with a couple drinks. That's not gonna bug her.
Okay.
Well,
Just
well, it's been more than a couple at this point. We failed on this one like 5 times.
Allie, please do take care of your liver.
I am. It's fine.
also wait, are we including like when we technically succeed and we save the village?
When you
I
save the
think it's
village,
death.
no. That's
Okay,
not.
so
That's not a bad ending or death. So it's just bad
Okay.
endings.
all right, then there aren't as many of those then. Yeah, that's right. We've actually saved the village a good number of times. It's just we wanted to do it via unicorn. Okay. I feel a little
Yeah.
less anxious now about
Our
this.
unicorn.
Okay, so we tried to
Guys,
go.
guys.
We tried to go into the village to save the unicorn. We tried to go into the forest to save the unicorn. Do you want to climb in the cart with Simon and go to the city? See what the fuck's up there? It's the only
Yeah.
thing we
Might as
haven't
well.
tried.
Sure, let's go with Simon
Let's go with
of,
Simon.
of Neebs Gaming, who recently sang a whole song about hot dogs, which is oddly inspiring.
For 3 days, while you ride through the forest on your way to Eris, you keep your eyes open for any sign of the unicorn. When you reach the outskirts of the city, you tell Simon about your search for a unicorn. It's a good thing you mentioned this, he says. I happen to know that the Duchess of Eris has a unicorn horn. She keeps it on hand in case someone tries to poison her wine. I've heard she dips the horn in her goblet before she takes a sip. Maybe the Duchess will lend you her unicorn horn. That's a good idea, you answer, but do you really think the Duchess would let me borrow it? That's hard to say, Simon admits. I've also heard there's a tapestry weaver in Aris who knows a lot about unicorn magic. He might be willing to help you. If you decide to ask the Duchess to lend you her unicorn horn, turn to page 25. If you ask Simon to take you to the Weaver, turn to page 36.
Weaver.
Weaver sounds more fun.
Weaver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're saving this fucking unicorn.
We're gonna save this
So
unicorn, goddammit.
I had to look
I am
it
a
up.
master of life and death.
I had to look it up. Some threads will. There are options where you find the unicorn, help it, and out of gratitude, it fixes the well.
Okay.
So
How dare you doubt me?
We just have to
It's
find the thread.
possible.
When we find the thread, then we'll be done with this book, because otherwise you're gonna fucking kill me with alcohol. Riding through Eris, you enjoy watching the city people bustle about in their fancy but dust-covered clothing. Finally, the cart stops at the tapestry workroom.
Why are they covered in dust?
Because it's dusty. It hasn't
drought.
rained.
Right.
We're in a drought.
These tapestries will hang in the Castle of Kings, he tells you. Although you know how to weave ordinary cloth, you have never seen a tapestry before. The two of you walk over to one loom on which a few weavers are creating a huge tapestry showing a knight. I'm looking for a weaver named Emil. Does any of you know him? That is not the correct English. It should be
Does
do.
any of you know him?
It is written as does any of you know him? It should be
Because
do.
Bruno's Mars is gay.
Just Bruno's Mars. Asks Simon. One of the men smiles and points to his chest. You found him. So we found the leader. Simon nudges you forward. I want to find a unicorn, you explain. The water in my village's well is tainted, and we might not last the summer unless it's purified. I'm told the touch of a unicorn's horn will clean it. You've come to the right man, says Emil. You say goodbye to Simon as Emil takes you aside. I know 2 solutions to your problem, but neither is easy, Emil tells you. I've heard one may obtain a unicorn by performing a ritual called the Circle of Wishes. However, it is very difficult and may cause you great anguish. The other way to clean your well is to weave a magic tapestry, and I can show you how to do that. It will take a full month to make. Once you complete it, you simply float the tapestry in the well, and the water will become pure. The Circle of Wishes sounds frightening to you, but time is short. Can your village survive during the month required to weave the magic tapestry? If you say, please tell me how to perform the Circle of Wishes, turn to page 46. If you decide to weave the magic tapestry, turn to page 39.
So I found the flowchart of this damn book.
Tell me afterwards, and we'll go from the beginning.
Yeah.
Let us end this
not-
one.
It doesn't count as defying the will of God if we don't do it accidentally.
Do we want to chart thing? Do we want to do the weave thing, which will take a while, or do we want to do the wish thing?
Wishes first.
Then
Wishes
we
for
are-
horses.
Wishes?
Wishes, I guess.
Wishes. The Circle of Wishes must take place at night, says Emil. You will need all the strength you possess. You should rest until the sun sets. That evening, Emil leads you away from the city, through the forest to a moonlight clearing. This sounds bad. Countless small stones mark a wide circle. Step inside, says Emil. A shiver runs up your spine as you stand in the center. Think of every wish in your heart and cast it out, instructs Emil. This is, This sounds
This is
like
how you
bullshit.
get- This is how you get kidnapped by Faye.
Mm-hmm.
Cast it out. Yes, speak it aloud and convince yourself you no longer desire that wish. You must continue until the last wish is gone from your heart. That's not so hard, you exclaim with relief. Emil does not reply. You think for a moment, then say, I no longer wish for a horse of my own. As soon as the words leave your lips, one of the stones of the circle glows and sparkles like a diamond. I no longer wish to grow tall. A second stone begins to shimmer, and you realize that growing tall no longer matters to you. As the hours pass, you cast out hundreds of wishes, but the circle is still not fully illuminated. Come on, urges Emil. Do the hard ones. You take a deep breath. I don't care if our crops fail. I no longer wish for a healthy life. I no longer wish my parents were alive. You name more and more wishes until only 2 stones remain. You are so exhausted you have trouble thinking of any other wishes. Okay, you say, sighing. I no longer wish to save my village from the drought. Good, says Emil.
No!
Just one more. That was it, you insist. I have no more desires. Yes, there is one more. No. Your life, he reminds you. Cast away your desire to live. Although you feel curiously empty, your wish to continue living is strong. You are not sure you can pluck it from your heart. If you refuse to abandon this last desire, turn to page 73. If you resolve to cast out your will to live, turn to page 65. This is fucked up.
Yeah. Sounds like either way you're getting a shot.
Yeah, this is bad.
This is fucked up.
Do we turn into the skid on this last one?
Choice.
We're kind of fucked anyway.
Let's do 60.
Yeah.
Let's cast it out. Let's fucking...
Like, we've pretty much destroyed ourselves as a person.
Yeah, this
What's the
brand
point of
is
living
pointless.
anymore?
Summoning all of your strength, you whisper, I cast away my wish to live. The last stone brightens. Now step outside the circle, says Emil. As you cross the glowing boundary, you are transformed into a unicorn. You gaze at your silvery hooves in astonishment, then toss your head to feel the weight of your long horn.
Okay, this ending's so bad I'm taking a drink.
Without wasting any time, you set out for your village. The next day, when you arrive home at twilight, most of the villagers are in their houses. You trot over to Marie Claire's cottage and poke your head through the doorway. She looks up from her sewing and gasps, "What in the world?" "It's me, I'm back," you say. Marie Claire touches the good luck pendant still hanging from your neck. "It is you! What happened? You were going to find a unicorn, not turn into one." "I'll tell you all about it later. First, let's go out to the well and see if this horn of mine really does work." The end.
You were meant to destroy the Sith.
All right,
Join them.
I'm taking this one for you.
I'm gonna take it too, because that was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
Burnett's whipped cream vodka.
Oh.
Okay. So
A little
next,
swiggy.
we're gonna go to 73 and say no, I don't want to die because that's fucking stupid. I won't do it. I can't give up my will to live, you say. As you begin to step outside the glowing circle, Emma shouts, "Stop! You can't leave the circle now." It's too late. When your foot touches the ground, you abruptly disappear in a flash of lightning. Emma claps his hand over his ears to muffle the deafening roar of thunder. Rain rushes from the night sky, drenching the forest, the city, and all of Flanders, including your parched village. People everywhere rush outside with buckets and bowls. They turn their faces up to the long-awaited rain. You never feel a single drop, however, for you have vanished forever. The end.
Somehow even fucking worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would you get turned into the rain, Jesus.
What?
What the fuck?
The fuck is this book?
This book is
Why is
meaner than the fucking alien one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was just kind of rapey. This one
constantly-
wants you to constantly face fates worse than death.
This one
Yeah,
just wants you to die.
And lose the will to live. Damn.
Fucking Christ.
Okay.
Alright.
Weaver is clearly the wrong fucking choice here. We gotta go the other way.
Well, there was two options at the Weaver. We can weave the tapestry instead.
I don't think either of those are gonna save the unicorn's life.
I mean,
We're technically saving the village. So,
At
but
this point,
still.
we're not. At this point, it's not that we're trying to save the unicorn. We're trying to save Scatha's liver.
No, we've saved the village multiple times. If that was our end condition, we could tap out. Saving the unicorn is the goal.
Exactly.
We have killed the unicorn. Now we must save the unicorn to prove our mastery of life and death.
before I
I think
abandon
you're
this,
taking the wrong things out of this.
before I abandon this thread, I'm going to go to page 39 and see what the magic tapestry does. And then afterwards, I'll let DZ steer me on the right fucking path.
I don't know which one it is. It's just like it's a flow chart, and all it says is, "Okay, here are the pages with good and bad endings."
Jeez.
Oh,
Fuck, it's the lamest type of flowchart.
The spoiler-free kind.
Emil gives you a small loom and a basket of white yarn. Much of the magic of the tapestry comes from the dyes you will use to color the yarn before you begin to weave. I will give you instructions, but you must gather the special plants for the dyes yourself. You probably know most of the plants, but Moonroot is quite extraordinary. He hands you a drawing of the strange herb. Moonroot? I've never heard of it. No one in my village uses it to dye clothing. Emma laughs. Moonroot is so rare that not even the king's robes are dyed with it. You see, the plant only blooms under a full moon. Luckily for you, tonight is the full moon. That evening, you make your way through the forest outside the city to a certain grove of birch trees, where Emil suggests you looks for Moonroot. You are delighted to see the peculiar silvery plants growing there. Just as you begin to gather them, a grotesque griffin descends noisily through the trees, heading straight for the precious Moonroot. If you step forward to fight off the griffin, turn to page 101. If you hide and wait to see what the griffin is up to, turn to page 67.
See what it's up to.
See what it's up to?
sure.
It wants to get high.
Yeah.
Let's get high.
High as the fucking moon.
You jump quickly into some dense raspberry bushes where you can safely watch the griffin. The beast sniffs the
Raspberry
plants.
bushes are like prickly though.
They are. At least they're not blackberry bushes. This character would fucking die.
Again.
The beast sniffs the plants and begins gobbling them down with alarming speed. You have to stop the griffin from destroying all the moon root, or you'll have to wait another month for it to bloom again. As you struggle to decide what to do, you nervously pop raspberries into your mouth. Their sweet taste gives you an idea. You fill your hands with the ripest berries. Quietly placing them on the ground, you form a trail from the bushes to the birch grove. The griffin is so busy consuming the moon root that it doesn't notice your approach. Taking careful aim, you toss a raspberry towards the griffin. The beast eats it eagerly and looks around for another. You toss a second berry, and the griffin snatches it up. You continue to throw berries, making sure each one lands a bit closer than the last to your trail. Just as the griffin discovers the trail of raspberries, you duck behind a shrub. Distracted by the berries, the beast moves away from the moon root. You breathlessly gather the remaining plants. The next morning, Emil shows you how to combine the moon root with other plants to create magical dyes. You soak the yarn in the dye, stirring occasionally, just as you would at home. At first, the resulting colors seem disappointingly ordinary, but when you examine them more closely, you discover the flash of rubies in the red yarn and the scent of pine in the green yarn. When you hold the blue yarn beside your ear, you hear the sounds of rushing water. Since you already know how to weave plain cloth, you have no trouble understanding Emil's instructions for making the tapestry. Excuse me. When you finally start to weave, it is even easier than you expected. The yarn seems to lead your fingers, creating a design of its own. While Emil weaves only an inch of regular tapestry each day, you weave almost a foot of your magic tapestry. As the days pass, you see the tapestry shows a unicorn dancing in the forest by the light of the moon. Each morning, when you resume weaving, you discover the moon is in a slightly different phase, and the unicorn is in another position. Emil assures you that the scenes in magic tapestries are always changing. Finally, when you have finished weaving, you cut the tapestry off the loom and roll it up. You are eager to see if the tapestry really does purify water, but you are also sad to be leaving Emil. You've grown to like him and the other weavers. When you say goodbye to Emil, he says, "I wish you weren't leaving. You've learned so much, and I enjoy having you around. Why don't you send the tapestry home with a messenger and stay on here as a weaver?" If you accept Emil's offer, turn to page 10. If you decide to go back to the village, turn to page 63.
Accept his offer. We've lived with this guy for a month, and we've become an amazing weaver. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to page 60.
Yeah, fuck them villagers, apparently.
We're going to page 10 then.
They have been kind of assholes in a lot of routes.
Yeah.
This is not a good person.
Emil smiles and slaps your back. "I'll teach you to be such a fine weaver that even the queen will buy your tapestries. Come on, let's find a messenger to carry the magic tapestry to your village." Before long, you are skillful enough to work on even the most elaborate tapestries. The days fly quickly, and at night, when you walk the streets of Eris with your new friends from the studio, you often find yourself thinking about how happy you are. But sometimes, just before you fall asleep, you think about your village. Since no one there can read or write, you aren't surprised that you haven't heard from anyone, but you can't help wondering if the magic tapestry really worked.
Jesus.
One day towards the end of winter, the peddler Simon stops by the studio with good news. "That tapestry of yours saved the village all right," he tells you. "Everyone is fine, although they miss you." "So they still think about me?" you say, secretly pleased. "They think about you every day," Simon assures you. "In fact, they're so grateful to you for saving them that they changed the name of the village. They've named it after you." The end.
Aww.
Oh, finally. Schittsburg is real.
Schittsburg.
That was actually that was a nice one.
Life is
It's
like
Morbin now.
Here in we still haven't saved the unicorn.
Morbin Town.
It's Morbin Town.
Morbin Town.
So,
God.
we're gonna go ahead and go back to the village from there. "I'll miss you too," you tell Emil, "but I have to go home. I'll always be grateful for your help." Emil gives you money to pay someone to drive you and the magic tapestry home. You ask the driver to let you off just outside your village, where you patiently wait until everyone is asleep. You hope your neighbors will put aside their fears of leprosy when they discover you purified the water. Quietly you drag the heavy tapestry to the well. When you unroll it, you see now it shows a unicorn dipping its horn into your well. You shove the tapestry in and listen for a splash as it hits the water. Then you lower a bucket and pull up some water. It smells fresh and tastes better than ever. At dawn, you run to Marie Claire's house and wake her up. She hugs you joyfully as you cry, "Come outside, taste the water. I've made it pure." She drinks the fresh water, and you tell her about the magic tapestry. "But where is it?" asks Marie Claire, peering into the well. You gaze into the water. All you see is the reflection of the moon in the early morning sky. The end.
Wait, so is the implication that the tapestry sort of melted away into a permanently pure well?
I guess that's how
Look,
magic
magic's
works.
weird.
Yeah. So, backtracking, the only other option is to fight the griffin.
Well, we have the flowchart here. We can just decide to fuck it and just let's see all the good ending pages and go eat one by one of the ones we've already done.
I want to save the unicorn. I want to feel the power of life and death in my hand.
That's fair.
And what happens, William, if there is no life in your hand, merely death?
My name's not fucking Morbius, so that's not the case.
But
Meet
you
your
see,
corrector and know he is Morbius.
You see, William, the difference is that you can only hold death, while I hold life and death. For while I am a vampire and a creature of the night,
Morbius, you're full of shit. You can't even hold a fucking box office record.
Damn.
Let me see.
He did hold a record, though.
You can't even
It's just
hold
a
it.
record
No,
failure.
no, it wasn't even the worst bomb ever. You're mediocre at everything,
No,
even
But it
sucking.
bombed twice. It's the only it's the only blockbuster to bomb
Morbius,
twice.
you can't even hold an
I'm a
audience's
medi-
attention.
I'm a medical doctor. Fuck you.
You're a medical doctor who should probably have been a lab tech, honestly, because fixing a thing is not.
Something beyond you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
try.
not medical doctoring.
I'm gonna try to work out the flow. So go ahead and keep bitching about Morbius while I do that.
Okay. Morbius sucked.
Morbius is a genuinely, bafflingly, hilariously embarrassing movie.
And honestly, as someone who kind of liked Morbius from the comics, it is very in character that this happened to Morbius.
Morbius, Dorbius, Orbius. Go eat some walruses, orifices, porridges. Morbius, Morbius. Go into the buffet and walruses, confidence, corpses, Worcestershire sauce. Go into your orifices. Red pill, blue pill. Morbius, walruses, seashells by the sea, Shorbius. Morbius drinking a 40 in a death basket.
Okay. Fucking incantation.
You don't have to
Swinging
summon me.
spells at us.
I'm already here. Allegedly.
I'm trying to work it out. I'm almost there.
There is no fate to save the unicorn. Its message is that innocence can only save by sacrifice.
Okay, I
Please figuring that out.
worked it out. So
Oh heck.
the only thing that we haven't tried yet is going back to the sorceress and having her make that golden net.
That's true.
That's gotta be the fucking answer. So you say,
It is the only thing we haven't tried.
would you please make me the golden net? Turn to page 49. I haven't made this kind of net for a few centuries, the sorceress warns. I hope it works. She sprinkles some herbs into a pot over the fire. Blood of a griffin, scales of a dragon, she recites as she continues to add ingredients, and a unicorn's eyelash. She stirs the concoction and tosses in some gold powder. The sorceress dips a pair of knitting needles in the shimmering potion. Your eyes widen with amazement as you watch her swiftly knit a sparkling net. There, she sighs. Now use it carefully. This net can snare any magical creature, not just a unicorn. The sorceress leads you out of her cave. When she sees night has fallen, she says, "Are you sure you want to begin your search now? You can come back to the cave with me and get a fresh start in the morning." "Thank you for everything," you reply, "but I think there's enough moonlight for me to see where I'm going." You wave goodbye and set off for the forest. You are walking through a thicket of pines when you realize you forgot to ask the sorceress how to use the net. Should you set a trap with it, or try to cast it over the unicorn once you find it? If you
Set a trap.
decide it's the perfect place to construct a trap with the net, turn to page 61. If you think it's better to wait until you see a unicorn to use the net, turn to page 58.
58.
You wanna set a trap, you said, Lydia? First?
Yes.
You arrange the magic net between the low-hanging boughs of 2 pine trees. One corner of the net trails on the ground, so it will snag the hoof of the unicorn and cause the rest of the net to descend upon the unsuspecting creature. It's a pretty clever trap, you decide, but it needs some delicious bait to attract a unicorn. As you rove through the moonlight forest, you try to imagine what unicorns like to eat.
Like virgins.
The heady fragrance of honeysuckle makes you think the sweet nectar inside the blossoms might be tempting bait. You pick an armful of the yellow flowers and spread them under the net. Feeling very satisfied, you hide in a nearby grove of ferns to watch and wait. Time passes slowly in the darkness. Despite your intentions, you fall sound asleep. A few hours later, fierce screeches interrupt your dreams. You run to the trap. Much to your horror, you discover not a unicorn, but a raging dragon snarled in the magic net.
What?
You have to get it off the monster, or you won't be able to use it to catch a unicorn. When you walk towards the net, the dragon emits a scorching blast of fire. Your entire body is instantly ablaze. You try rolling on the ground to extinguish the flames, but within seconds, everything around you is also burning. By morning, the forest is only a vast plain full of cinders. The end.
Okay.
What the fuck?
You fucking...
You put a net that catches
This
all
book-
magical
book.
creatures.
This book is a fucking sadist.
This book is fucked up. 58.
Where the fuck? Why the? If a dragon's fire is so powerful, like why is why is it here? Why is the forest still standing?
All right, so we're gonna backtrack and go searching for the unicorn first. You walk through the moonlight forest, searching for the unicorn. Finally, you become too tired to continue. You curl up beneath a pine tree and fall asleep, clutching the golden net tightly. As you float in and out of dreams, you sense someone or something watching you. Opening one eye, you see a small white horse sniffing the net. As you sit up, the horse skitters back with fear. "It's okay," you whisper, holding out your hand. "Come here, horse." The animal draws his head up proudly and says softly, "Maybe you can't recognize me without my horn, but I am still a unicorn." "I didn't know unicorns could talk," you exclaim. "We do many things people don't know about," the unicorn answers. "What happened to your horn?" "Just this morning, a warlock attacked me and cut it off," the unicorn explains sadly. "You see, the horn holds my magic. Without it, I'll die by dawn." "That's terrible," you cry. "Could the sorceress save you?"
By dawn. By dawn.
"Maybe," answers the unicorn. "But I know one ritual to restore my horn, but I can't perform it myself. A sorceress might be able to help, but there's so little time." "Tell me about this ritual," you urge the unicorn. "It's called the Rainbow of Tears. It takes thousands of teardrops under the light of the moon to form a rainbow," says Unicorn. You want to help the unicorn, but aren't sure whether you should run back for the sorceress or try to think of a way of creating the Rainbow of Tears yourself.
Sorceress, we've already tried
Sorceress.
doing it ourselves.
We have.
Sorceress. Call upon her sorceress powers.
That's true.
Now, I want to remind you that this is a different way to come at this, so it might actually work if we do it the other way, but
I swear, if the only golden ending is like to go with the option that seems like the most against the unicorn's wishes, I'm gonna get a net cash of the unicorn. I'm gonna be mad.
You race through the forest to get the sorceress. When you finally reach her chamber in the hills, the only thing you can see is a swarm of lavender moths glowing in the darkness. Help!
Hey!
Help! The unicorn needs you, you shout at the moths. You feel silly talking to a bunch of insects and hope it's another of the sorceress's forms. The moths abruptly disappear. Great galloping goblins, exclaims the sorceress. Just hold on while I find the light. The rich colors of the sunset suddenly fill the cave. Wrong one, she snaps. The next thing you know, it's broad daylight and the sorceress stands before you in her purple robe. You explain breathlessly what has happened to the unicorn. That's terrible, she replies. Fortunately, I know 2 spells that may work. I could transform the unicorn back to a baby when it still had its horn, or I could apply a healing potion to make the horn grow back. I must warn you, both potions are very tricky. Every now and then, the baby concoction turns into an old age spell instead. And what about the healing potion, you ask? Well, sometimes things grow back differently. The horn could grow back as a butterfly's antenna or a deer's antler. The real problem is that neither of those spells is reversible, and I certainly don't want to be responsible for what happens. The choice is up to you. If you answer, please make the unicorn a baby again, turn to page 81. If you tell the sorceress to try the healing potion, turn to page 93.
Healing potion. I'm not having a unicorn rapidly age into dust in front of my eyes at this point.
Yeah.
Healing potion, 93. Please mix the healing potion, you tell the sorceress. And be careful. We don't want the horn to grow back as an antler. Hold on, I need to take a sip of water.
If we make a weird deer unicorn...
Don't worry, she measures the ingredients with maddening slowness and spends almost an hour stirring the potion. Every few minutes you dash outside the cave to see if it is dawn yet. When the sorceress is finally finished, she says, I'm going to turn us into swallows so we'll be able to reach the unicorns quite quickly. Into swallows? All your life you've dreamed of flying. Sure, I'll put the vial of potion in a basket and carry it in my beak. The sorceress brushes your neck with a swallow feather and murmurs a strange chant. You find you become a bird and you hop around the cave joyfully while the sorceress transforms herself. You follow the sorceress out of the cave and then lead her towards the unicorn. As you soar exuberantly through the dark, you realize flying is even more thrilling than you had imagined. You land smoothly and hop over to the unicorn. You try to say, hi, it's me, but all that comes out are some unfamiliar chirps. When you turn to your fellow swallow, the sorceress, you spot a fox lunging into the clearing. Before you can utter a single peep, the fox snatches the swallow sorceress in its mouth and runs off. You watch, hoping the sorceress will quickly turn herself into a woman or the wind, or anything, but nothing happens. You notice the vial of potion has fallen from the basket. No matter how hard you try, you can't pick it up with your beak. With sickening panic, you realize the unicorn will die and you will spend the rest of your life as a swallow. The end.
Jesus.
What the hell?
The other one then.
You book?
What the hell?
Fuck me! That was almost the worst one. What the fuck? This book sucks.
That was just a fucking stab in the dick.
This book fucking sucks.
Who wrote this?
Deborah Lerm Goodman. Fuck you.
Damn, Deborah.
Damn, Deborah. I love this baby spell, says the sorceress gleefully. I used it a lot when I was growing up. If my brothers or sisters annoyed me, I would just change them into infants. Why, one brother celebrated his first birthday 12 times. You laugh politely. That is fucked up. You laugh politely, but you're in a hurry to return to the unicorn. The sorceress rummages through her supply basket. I'll need the skin of a black snake, crumbled eggshells, and one more thing. What was it? Oh yes, those dried flowers, baby's breath. All right, I'm ready. Should we bring a lantern, you ask? There's no need. She replies, I'll turn us both into the wind. She takes your hand, and before you know what is happening, you are nothing but air rushing through the darkness. To the left, past those rocks, she directs the sorceress. Within minutes, you are there, back in human forms again. The unicorn smiles with relief. I didn't think you'd get here in time. Your worries are over, says the sorceress. She explains the spell and mixes the magical concoction. This is ready for you to eat, she tells the unicorn. You watch expectantly as the unicorn laps up the potion. Almost immediately, its horn grows back while its body shrinks. I feel wonderful, exclaims the unicorn in a high, lilting voice. I know my horn is powerful enough to clean your well, but I must admit, I'm afraid. Until my legs grow longer, I'll be easy prey for that warlock. I'll take care of you, you offer eagerly. You can live with me and be my pet. Really? Brah! No. The unicorn nuzzles you gratefully. I was hoping you'd say that. Wow.
What?
Horny unicorn!
Unicorn!
After the unicorn cleans the water in your well, the villagers adopt it as a mascot. It stays by your side for the rest of your life. The end. That was technically a good ending, but I didn't like it. I did not like it.
Is that the only way we can save the unicorn?
That dangerous. Where should we be if no one tried to find out what lies beyond? Have you ever wanted to look beyond the clouds and stars, or to know what causes the trees to bud, and what changes darkness into light? But if you talk like that, people call you crazy. Well, if I could discover just one of these things, what saves the unicorn, for example, I wouldn't care if they did think I was crazy.
Alright, so...
What the fuck is this book?
The last path I think we can take is to try the Rainbow of Tears again in a different way. So
Yes.
You nervously twist the golden net while thinking of a solution. Looking down at the net, you exclaim, I've got an idea. Without another word, you race through the forest with the net unfurling like a sail behind you. Stomping your feet and thrashing past branches, you startle the birds out of their slumber. As they fearfully flutter into the air, their wings tangle in the magic net. With each bird it traps, the net grows larger until it holds thousands. Exhausted but triumphant, you return to the unicorn, leading an enormous golden cloud of screeching birds. Cry, you shout. Cry for the unicorn and cry for yourselves.
Okay.
Sadistic. Holy shit.
You never know whether you never know whether they understand your plea or if the terror of their entrapment makes the birds weep. You watch in astonishment as the first tiny tears glisten in the eyes of the hummingbirds. The swallows sob, and shiny teardrops slide down the long bills of the woodpeckers. It's working, cries the unicorn over the noise of beating wings and the piercing cries of the birds. A glorious rainbow arches from the moon to the earth. Slowly the unicorn's horn grows long and lustrous, glowing with a light of its own. When you finally release the birds from the golden net, they soar freely through the forest. I owe you my life, the unicorn tells you. How can I repay you? You are so awed by the wonder of the evening that it takes you a moment to speak. For me, seeing the Rainbow of Tears has been enough, but my village needs your help. Take me there, I'll do whatever I can, replies the unicorn. The two of you turn towards the sunrise and walk to your village. The end. And that's fucking it.
Finally!
Jesus Christ.
Even the golden ending involves entrapment of thousands of birds and then shaking the net and telling them, cry, motherfuckers!
It's a fucking terrible book.
Alright.
What a technical fuck
thought-
you, Deborah!
I thought the answer would be to take the magical net and capture the warlock. No,
There's no ending in which he is punished and the warlock is and the unicorn is fine.
This is fucking...
Alright. With the power of the god in the palm of my hand, I'm gonna go to bed. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Night.
That book was fucked up, man.
Yeah. I thought the fucking...
That book was fucked up.
What I heard is like, okay, after we got through like 7 different roofies of aliens, we're finally getting, it's like, here's Magic of the Unicorn. Oh, that's gonna be, less dark.
No.
Yeah.
No,
Okay,
it
that's
wasn't.
fair.
Okay, so vote time again. I'm not gonna do another one tonight because my voice will kill me. But vote time while you guys are still here. We've got the other Alien book, Target Earth. We've got the Dungeons and Dragons ones, which start with Dungeon of Dread, Pillars of Pentagarn, Spell of the Winter Wizard, or Dragon of Doom.
Dungeon of Dread.
Dungeon of Dread.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
we'll,
Dungeon of Dread.
we'll do that one next time. Hopefully, it's less fucked up. The fucking unicorn.
Magical unicorn.
Jesus